Look at almost any vertebrate on Earth. Fish have tails, dogs have tails, cats have tails, lizards have tails, monkeys have tails. Even some of our closest primate relatives, the ones who look most like us, have tails. And then there is the human body. No tail, not even a small one, not even a stub, just a flat patch of skin at the base of the spine where, by every rule of animal anatomy, something should probably be. Most people never think about this. The human body feels complete, normal, the way a body is supposed to look. But that feeling of normal is deceptive, because if you step back far enough, the human body is the strange one. We are the outlier. We are the ones who lost something that almost every other vertebrate on the planet still has. So the real question is not why other animals have tails. The real question is why we stopped. And the answer goes much deeper than most people expect. To understand why humans lost their tails, we first have to understand what a tail actually is. A tail is not just an extra piece of body attached at the end. It is an extension of the spine, the same spine that runs through the human back, protecting the spinal cord, supporting posture, connecting every major system in the body. That spine continues in most vertebrates, extending past the pelvis into a tail made of additional vertebrae. Different animals use their tails in very different ways. A fish uses its tail to move through water. A cat uses its tail for balance during jumps and turns. A spider monkey uses its tail like a fifth limb, gripping branches with enough strength to hang its entire body weight. A dog uses its tail to communicate, wagging, tucking, raising, sending signals to other dogs without a single sound. Tails are not decorative, they are functional. In most animals, a tail solves real problems, which makes the human situation even more interesting, because humans did not lose their tails by accident. Evolution does not work that way. If a trait disappears across an entire species, something caused that disappearance. Something changed in the environment, in the body, or in the way the body was being used. So what changed? The story begins somewhere between 20 and 25 million years ago. At that point, our distant ancestors were small primates living in trees. They had tails. Many of their relatives still do. But somewhere in that period, a specific group of primates began to change. This group would eventually become the apes, a category that includes gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, and eventually humans. And one of the earliest things that separates apes from monkeys is the tail. Apes do not have tails. This is not a coincidence or a side effect. It appears to be connected to a fundamental shift in how these animals moved. Monkeys, in general, move along the tops of branches. They run across them horizontally, using their tails for balance the way a tightrope walker uses a pole. Their spine is built for horizontal movement. Their center of gravity is positioned accordingly. Apes began moving differently. Instead of running along the tops of branches, they began to hang below them, to swing, to reach overhead, to use their arms in a wider, more flexible range of motion. This style of movement is called brachiation, and it requires a very different body. A wider chest, longer arms, a shorter, stiffer lower spine, shoulders that can rotate in ways monkey shoulders cannot, and a different relationship between the body and balance. In that context, a tail becomes less useful. When you are swinging below a branch rather than running along the top of one, a tail does not stabilize you the same way. The physics change. The body's center of gravity shifts. The tail that once helped a monkey keep its footing becomes, at best, unnecessary, and at worst, something that gets in the way. But losing a tail is not simple. Evolution cannot just decide to remove something. It works through mutations, small changes in DNA that alter development. For a tail to disappear, something in the genetic instructions for building a tail had to change. In 2021, researchers made a significant discovery. They identified a specific genetic mutation that appears connected to tail loss in apes, including humans. The mutation involves a gene called TBXT, sometimes called the brachyury gene. This gene plays a role in early development, in how the spine and tail form before birth. In most animals with tails, this gene functions in a way that allows tail vertebrae to develop. In apes, a specific change in or near this gene appears to disrupt that development. The tail begins forming in the embryo, but the process stops early. The tail does not complete. This single mutation, or a small cluster of related changes, may have been the genetic event that removed the tail from an entire lineage of primates. And here is the strange part. The researchers found that when they replicated this mutation in mice, the mice were born without tails, but some of them also showed increased rates of neural tube defects, developmental problems affecting the spine and brain. That is an uncomfortable finding. It suggests that the same mutation that removed the tail may have carried a hidden cost. That losing the tail was not a clean, perfect evolutionary upgrade. It was a trade-off. The body gave something up, and in doing so, it may have introduced a risk that persisted into human development. Evolution is often described as elegant. This is a reminder that it is more often messy. Now comes the part of the story that most people find surprising. Humans did not completely lose their tails. Not entirely. During early human development in the embryo, in the weeks after conception, a tail forms. A real one, with vertebrae extending visibly beyond the base of the developing spine. For a brief window, a human embryo has a tail that, if you saw it without context, you would recognize immediately. Then it disappears. The cells that form the tail undergo a process called apoptosis, programmed cell death. The tail is reabsorbed into the body. By the time a human is born, almost nothing visible remains. Almost. What remains is the coccyx, the small, fused set of bones at the very base of the human spine. Most anatomy textbooks call it the tailbone, and that name is accurate in a very literal sense. The coccyx is what is left of a tail. It is not a random bone. It is the remnant of a structure that once continued further, that once moved, that once served purposes that the human body eventually moved away from. The coccyx is not useless. It provides attachment points for muscles and ligaments connected to the pelvic floor. It helps with sitting and with certain movements, but it is clearly smaller than what came before it. A compressed version of something older. The human body carries its history inside itself, and the coccyx is one of the clearest examples of that. There is one more layer to this story. Very rarely, a human is born with what appears to be a tail, a soft, fleshy extension at the base of the spine, sometimes several centimeters long. This is called a vestigial tail, and it has been documented in medical literature across many countries and many decades. These structures are not made of vertebrae. They are soft tissue, skin, fat, muscle, sometimes nerve fibers. They are not the same as the tails of other animals, but they are real, and they appear when the developmental process that normally stops tail growth does not function quite the way it should. These cases are rare. They can be surgically removed without significant consequence, but their existence is significant in a different way. They are a window into what the body still carries in its instructions. A reminder that the genetic information for building a tail has not been completely erased. It has been switched off, and occasionally, imperfectly, something turns it back on. So why did humans stop having tails? Because the animals we descended from changed how they move. Because hanging and swinging through trees made a tail less necessary than a flexible spine and mobile shoulders. Because a genetic mutation disrupted the development of tail vertebrae. Because that mutation spread through an entire lineage over millions of years. And because the body found new uses for the structures that remained, compressing them into what is now the coccyx. The tail did not disappear because it was bad or wrong. It disappeared because the environment changed, the body changed, and the pressures that once made a tail useful stopped applying. But it did not disappear completely. It became something else, something smaller, something tucked away at the base of the spine, doing quiet structural work, holding the memory of a much older body. Every human alive carries the remnant of a tail they never had, and inside every human embryo, for a few brief weeks, that older body returns. The tail grows, the ancient instructions run, and then the modern body takes over, and it disappears again. The human spine is not just a structure, it is a record. It contains the story of every body that came before it, and at the very end of that record, at the base, sits a small cluster of fused bones that once moved freely in open air, millions of years before the first human ever stood upright and looked at the world.